Okay, let's try this again. Oh, there we go. I just tried recording. I'm using this new program called Adobe Audition that my good friend Brandon recommended for editing. And I wanted to see if I could also record in it, and I can, and I am. But I tried it a minute ago and it wasn't working. Hello, Death by Southwest. It has been such a long time. I feel like it's honestly been forever. It's only been, I think, 3 weeks, but it's felt like a long time. And if you are still here with me, after I've been gone for 3 weeks, then I thank you. I needed it. I needed a brain break from all things podcast. I have not listened to a podcast. I have not looked at a podcast. Nothing since right before Christmas. So I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday season. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to harp on how nice it was to kind of disconnect. I didn't open Instagram. I didn't only to post things for Jim, but otherwise I didn't open any social media. I didn't check my email. I basically just completely unplugged. And I feel I woke up today like with several recordings with Jim, and I was like, okay, I am fucking motivated. I feel excited to get back into life. And I am. Of course, I just was posting some information on Jim's. Sorry, the cat just jumped up. I'm reorganizing the microphone here. On Jim's social media, and then also on Death by Southwest social media, resources about the LA wildfires. And of course, I was about to post it on Jim's, post it on mine, about to close out of the app because I don't want to, it's devastating. I mean, it's devastating for the people who are there. And just feels stupid to say that I feel devastated by it. I don't live there, but I have a lot of friends and a lot of former colleagues and family and people that I love and care about that are there. Some have been evacuated, some have not. So far, everyone that I know personally is safe, and so are their pets, which is, the biggest concern for me. So I was closing out of Instagram because it's that time of the month for me soon next week, and I'm feeling extremely emotional. Not that matters, like even if it wasn't, and that was too much information. Sorry. I'm not cutting it out, but I am sorry. Even if it wasn't that, I get very emotional around that time of the month. I know that's a cliche, but I do. I cry super easily. Even if that wasn't happening, I would be crying. This would be just tragic. And the people who have lost their homes, I don't want to start crying because this has, I don't live there. This has nothing to do with me, but I can't imagine losing your home so abruptly and horrifically. And the animals, you guys know, if you know me, you know that I am crying about the animals. And I just saw this video of this guy on the side of the road. I reposted it to our Instagram stories with this guy on the side of the road trying so hard and desperately trying to save like a wild bunny, like a wild rabbit that was trying to escape the fire and would have run right into the freeway is what it looks like. But he managed to he was standing there like cheering this bunny on and then got him, picked the bunny up. And I just started weeping because I wish I could turn my brain off sometimes, but all I can imagine is all the wild animals and people's pets who get left behind. And I know that human life is generally considered more important. But like I said, I'm not going to justify or explain this. It's just who I am. And if you've been listening to the podcast, then you know that this imagining all those poor animals, it just completely destroys me. Ugh. I'm just feeling so sad about it, and so sad for everyone there who's been affected by this. So I'm hoping that anyone who's listening, I hope that you're safe. I hope that your family and friends are safe. I posted a lot of resources on our Instagram stories. And I've checked in with just about everyone I think that I know out in LA. It is just unimaginable, the loss that's happening there. And so my heart and thoughts go out to everyone who has been affected by this. And I had a bunch of things that I was just going to kind of call this like a hello 2025. Let's catch up before a new episode next week, which there 100% will be. But it feels kind of, I don't know, maybe I just need a minute to stop crying and sniffling into the microphone. And maybe it would be a good thing to talk about something else and put some other type of things out there. It feels a little bit, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? A little bit like irrelevant, like stupid. Like, why am I talking about my holidays when this is going on? People are literally having to flee their homes. It feels silly. But sorry, I will try to sniffle away from the microphone. I know that, I'm going to bring up that one bad reviewer who said, I don't like the lip smacking, which I don't know how to fix that, honestly. And I'm not sure exactly even what that means. So anyways, moving on. Okay. So let's see. I just took a few quick notes about just some things that have gone on in the past 3 weeks. Obviously the LA fires I have written down here. And then, my holidays were very good. Christmas. I've done a bonus episode on Patreon since Christmas. So sorry for some of my patrons. You've probably heard a lot of these stories. So I apologize, but Christmas was good. Christmas Eve, we went to it feels like a really long time ago now. Myself, Jenna, Michael, and Mark all went to my dad's house for Christmas Eve. And it was the most un-Christmassy Christmas Eve I've probably ever had. My dad, since my mom died, my dad no Christmas tree, no Christmas decorate. Like, you would never know it's Christmas at his house. I think he puts a wreath out front, but that's it. And often in the past on Christmas Eve, we've done the 7 fishes, which is an Italian tradition. And I really wish that I had looked this up beforehand. I've looked it up a bunch of times and I can never seem to remember what it represents, but it represents something. And so we've often done that in the past on Christmas Eve, which it's exactly what it sounds. We have lots of appetizers and a dinner, and collectively there are 7 different types of fish consumed throughout this appetizers and dinner and stuff. So we didn't do that this year. My dad said he wanted to do something different, and different meant ordering Chinese food. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It just matters that we were all together. I didn't want, none of us wanted my dad to be alone. And it was kind of fun, actually. We had a nice time. And then Christmas Day, Mark and myself just cooked. I wore like a Santa outfit and we cooked and drank all day. Very relaxing. And that was really the whole break. There was a lot of TV watching. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. My TV recommendations, because I have watched a lot of TV, guys. Sorry, my nose won't stop running after I was crying. So that's what, Mark was off of work for a little bit. So Christmas Eve, a lot of, hanging out, a lot of, we saw Jenna and Michael a lot. a lot of eating and a lot of drinking. And then New Year's, we didn't do anything. Yeah. Michael had to work a lot over like around New Year's, and Mark worked on New Year's Eve. So we didn't do anything. Which is totally fine with me. I feel like New Year's Eve, I would love to have like a big fancy event to go to. But outside of that, I feel like New Year's Eve, or a party, I guess, but driving on New Year's Eve is so dangerous. And, now I'm getting tripped up in my head. Like, did I mention this on this podcast or did I mention this only on Patreon? Don't kill me, guys. I know I say that all the time. But New Year's Eve is not one of my favorite holidays. I'm not a big like New Year's resolution person, although I do have some goals for Death by Southwest for this new year. I've never really believed in like, I have to wait until the new year, or I'm going to wait until the new year to get in shape or read more or whatever. So I don't have any New Year's resolutions except for to have a better year than 2024 and to be a better me than I was in 2024. And so far, like 2025 is, this sounds terrible to say with all the tragedy going on, but 2025 is killing it for me compared to 2024. 2024, I was still in bed at this point. What is it? January 9th. So Mark broke up with me on New Year's Eve. So 9 days later, I was definitely still in bed, like hiding from the world, just crying constantly. Because about this point last year, it was sinking in that like, oh, he's serious. This isn't just a fight. So, 2024 started off really badly, really, really badly for me. And not that I don't necessarily believe that sets the tone for your whole year, but I don't know. It just feels good to kick off a new year in a positive fashion. So we made a fire, watched TV, went to bed, and New Year's Day, I don't remember what we did. Nothing. Hung out, played with the dogs, took a dog walk. It was relaxing. And then by that point I was kind of like, all right, I'm ready to hop back into work, like get up and sit at my desk and work all day. Over the break, it was like I would do things that needed to be done that were time sensitive, but I was rarely sitting here like working all day. So I was ready at that point. But then my aunt came into town on the 3rd, so last Friday. And we hadn't seen her since my mom's funeral. So that was 8 years ago. And it's my dad's sister. And I think I go into a bit of the family history on that side, on the bonus Patreon episode that I did a few days ago. And I guess I'll have to ask Patreon. I can't remember if I went into all of it because it's really interesting. It's really interesting to me. It's my family. I'm not sure it's super interesting to anybody else. Like I'm not dying to look at anybody else's like ancestry, family tree and hear all about it, So maybe I spoke too soon with really interesting. But it's very different than my mom's side of the family, like the history there and the upbringing. My mom was born in Virginia, but her family moved to LA when she was 6 or 7. So she was essentially raised in LA. My dad was raised in New York. Just very different family histories. And my dad's, without getting too much into it, just because I don't want to bore everybody to tears. I had some, let's see, how do I want to say this? My dad was not close with his father. And honestly wasn't really that close with his mother. They had a relationship, but not that close. Like I knew my dad's mom. She came and visited us. She stayed with us when my parents went out of the country 1 or 2 times. So like, we talked to her every holiday, every birthday, see her once or twice a year because she's lived in New York until she passed away. But we were much closer with my mom's parents who called us every night. And my mom was just closer with her own parents. So my mom made an effort to make sure that we were close with her parents. They're both also dead. And my dad wasn't as close with his mom, had no relationship with his dad. So he didn't, I think it was just less of a priority. That sounds terrible. But, moderately close with his mom, with my grandma. We called her Yaya, which was Greek. She was Italian, but I don't know why she liked it. And so my aunt, we were, same thing. Like we'd see her probably not as often, maybe because my Yaya would come and visit us in Chicago. I think my Aunt Patty probably came a few times. We went out to New York a few times, and, she'd always send us like birthday cards and Christmas cards and gifts and stuff. So she was always so kind and generous about that. And up until this day, I mean, she sent me a Christmas gift this year. It's so sweet. We don't really do Christmas gifts as far as like myself and Mark and me and Jenna, Michael, my dad. Like, if I see something that I think Michael would like or Jenna would like, sure, I'll get it. I think I got them each something very, I think I got Michael, like a little book about a funny book about the Beatles. I got Jenna a little art project thing. But if I don't see anything that makes me think of them or makes me think they'll like it, then I'm not just going to buy them a random gift to buy them a random gift. So it's sweet that my aunt still sends myself and Jenna gifts. So my aunt came last Friday, and I picked her up from the airport, and she ended up staying at a hotel kind of right near where all of us live. And so I took her to her hotel, and then myself and Jenna picked her up and went to my dad's house, and we all just, had a very nice time. We sat around, had some drinks. Mark picked up pizza and brought it over, and we all had dinner. It was really a lovely time. And I never know if it's going to be a lovely time with my dad. It's always a nice time, but there are times when he's in a better mood, or the alcohol's just hitting better, or something, the conversation works, and everybody has like a really fun time actually. And I love my dad dearly. I don't think I'd describe him as like a super fun guy, but also when I watch him hanging out with Michael and Mark, he is really fun. I think he's just always sticks in that dad role with myself and Jenna, and he can't get out of it after so many years. I don't know how to explain that. I know he doesn't listen to this podcast, but I also feel like, well, what if he does? I don't want to hurt his feelings because he's a great dad. But I just didn't know, Patty and my dad haven't seen each other, and I don't think really have talked in 8 years. Myself and Patty have talked on the phone, I guess a handful of times, more than a handful of times over 8 years, but not that much, maybe once a year, twice a year on the phone, and then texting. So you just never know. I don't know how it's going to go. What if somebody brings up something and, my dad doesn't like it? It can get out of hand, and stay tuned because it does. Not on Friday night though. We had a lovely time Friday night. We had everybody was drinking. I was drinking less because I was driving. God, I guess I should say I was drinking less. I should have said I was drinking nothing. I had a few glasses of wine because I was driving. So we're all leaving. Like, we're finally like, okay, let's go. It's late. Patty's tired. She was traveling all day. So my dad and her grew up in New York. She moved to Newark, New Jersey. I don't know when, but like at some point in her younger adult years, 20s, 30s, something like that. And she lived there up until a year ago in Newark. After my grandma passed away, Patty was the one who was there, and she was taking care of my grandma until she passed away. And so once my grandma passed away, Patty has always loved Florida. She loves Key West, and she sold her place in Jersey and moved down to South Florida, which is where she lives now, and seems very, very happy there. So she was it's a bit of a plane ride from Florida to Arizona. So she was tired. We were all getting ready to leave. We all go out to my dad's back porch. I guess it's considered the front porch sometimes. I don't know. and we're like getting ready to leave. And my dad and Mark are just blah, blah, blah. Like when they get together and have a few drinks, and Michael as well, they just can't stop talking. It's, I don't even know what they're talking about. But, we're trying to say goodbye to my dad and like, let's go. So Mark drove separately since he picked up the pizza. I was like, okay, bye, Mark. I'll see you at my house in like 10 minutes. Bye, Dad. Thanks, for having us. I'm going to drive Patty and Jenna home. And I do. I take Patty to her hotel. I take Jenna home, and I come home to my house. And I'm like putting on my PJs, like, I don't know, tidying up, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. Like Mark should definitely have beaten me here. My dad lives 4 minutes away from me. Like, what's going on? He's not here. He's not here. Finally, he texts and he's like, I'm coming home soon. I promise I'm coming home soon. I was like, okay, no problem. And like 45 minutes later, I get a text, way too drunk, sleeping at Dad's, which I know doesn't seem like that big. It's not that big of a deal. And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. And it's not. But I don't think even that there's been any time where I've been too drunk or Jenna's been too drunk where we've like stayed at my dad's. We've had plenty of dinners there over the years, certainly. But in the past 3 years, I've had my own place here. Prior to that, I would be here visiting. And so I was actually staying at his house. But since I've lived here, we've had numerous dinners there, many. And I've never gotten so drunk and slept there. Jenna hasn't, Michael hasn't. And it was just, I don't know. It just was like, wait, Dad and Mark are having a sleepover. Like what? I mean, he has a guest room, but anyways, I thought it was pretty funny. It's probably only funny to me. But I'm thrilled about it because I, again, think this was only on Patreon, but I perhaps told the story of my ex-husband and how we were visiting here in Tucson one time from Georgia, and him and my dad got into like a big fight, and my dad like just assumed that, they would shake hands, say sorry, and move on. It was, they'd been drinking. And that wasn't the case. My ex was like packing up his suitcase. When I woke up, I was like, what's going on? He's like, we're leaving. I can't stay in a house with your father. That man is an asshole, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, what? Because I had been sleeping when they got in this fight. They stayed up drinking and got in a huge fight. And then we're like leaving. We'd just gotten there like a day before. My dad comes to the bedroom door and knocks, and he's like, what are you doing? Why are you packing up? Like I was coming to apologize and say, let's just, sweep it under the rug, move on. Nope. My ex couldn't handle it. And I had to decide whether to stay and finish out the trip and see my family, which I never, I didn't get to see them. I saw them maybe once a year when I was living in Atlanta. Or go with my ex, who obviously wanted me to go with him and like in solidarity. And it was tough. I did. I went with him. Looking back, I wish I hadn't. And so my dad never really, like, he thought that was kind of like excuse me, my French saying this, but like kind of like a pussy move. Like, come on. So I love the fact that Mark and my dad get along so well. Great. And so that's it. That was Friday night. Saturday, we went to the farmer's market with my aunt, walked around, had lunch. And Saturday night, we were all going to my dad's house. He was making this, I had never had it, but I thought it was really good. This like kind of spicy pasta with mussels and clams, I believe, in it. And so again, I pick up my aunt, my sister, Mark, and then Michael meets us there when he's off of work, or I can't remember exactly how it went. Maybe Mark drove. Oh no, Mark drove us all. I think that's right. Mark drove us all. There's a point to this. I know you don't need all of these details, but the driving thing, there is actually a point to it. And so this, I'm going to brush over this a little bit lightly because I know that this story doesn't just involve me and my family. My other family members are private people, more so than I am. I'm not at all. But basically, lovely night. We had pasta, we're talking, everybody's drinking. My aunt, myself, and my sister are in the kitchen having cookies and after dinner drinks. And my dad and Michael and Mark are in the family room. So we can't the kitchen's kind of like around the corner from the family room. So like they're in there. I can hear them in the background, but I'm not looking directly at them. And at one point, Jenna is like, wait. I think something's happening, and aside from Mark, we'd all been drinking pretty heavily that night. I was like, no, they're just like drunk talking. It's fine. She's like, no, I think something bad is happening. And I was like, nah. Then I listened closely and I was like, oh yeah, my dad is yelling at Michael. Michael, drunkenly said something that my dad didn't like, and he felt offended by it. And I think nobody really understands what happened, because once my dad started yelling at Michael, Mark kind of excused himself from the situation and came into the kitchen. And so I don't even know if my dad and Michael know what was exactly said at that point, but my dad's yelling at Michael. Michael, I think kind of doubled down maybe. And, because he was drunk, and my dad did not like, and then my dad lost it, screaming at Michael to get the fuck out of his house, get the fuck out of my house, blah, blah, blah. And it all happened really fast, and it was a lot of yelling and screaming. And then we just heard the side door close. So Michael just left. And all of us were kind of like, what the fuck happened? So Jenna is upset with my dad. So then my dad's yelling at her. And then Mark is trying to play diplomat here. Okay, John, let's. And so then my dad's yelling at Mark. And so then I'm yelling at my dad. Don't talk to him that way. My aunt's just sitting here oh God. And so the yelling amongst all myself, Jenna, and my dad went on, I don't know how long, a little bit. And finally it was just somebody was like, well, let's get the fuck out of here. And so we left, but we don't know where Michael is. He just left probably 20, 30 minutes earlier. Maybe not that long. So we all get in Mark's car, me, Jenna, and my aunt. Mark's like, Patty, you don't want to go back to your hotel. We have to go decompress after this. So he's like, come to Jenna. So we all go to Jenna and Michael's house. Michael's not there when we got there, I think. He showed up 10 minutes later. Apparently he had fled my dad's house. And my dad's house is it's not a normal, it's a normal suburban area for Tucson. But if you don't live in Tucson, it's not like the houses are more spread out. There's a lot of desert in between a lot of houses. It's not like you can just walk down the street and be on a main road super quickly. It's a windy desert road that he lives off of. So but Michael had apparently caught an Uber and got back to his house. We were all there. We all, went over what had happened in the evening and stuff. And then eventually actually I think I fell asleep and Patty took an Uber, and then eventually Mark woke me up and we came home. Again, unnecessary details for you to know. But the next morning when we woke up, I was like, oh my God, we still have Patty's still here for 3 more days. And prior to this, we had it all mapped out. So Friday and Saturday night, we're at my dad's house. Sunday night, Jenna and Michael were going to host dinner. Monday night, I was going to host dinner. Tuesday night, we're going out to dinner. So we had all the dinners planned out. And so I was like, what the fuck is going to happen now? I'm not comfortable just having Patty over and making dinner for the next 3. She'll be so bored with us. And so there was it was I won't get into all of that, but there was some continued arguing that morning amongst all of us, what's going to happen? Well, we're not involved. Well, that's not okay. And blah, blah, blah. It all ended up working out. Michael, thankfully, very good of him, texted my dad or called my dad and then went over there. They talked, they quashed it. Michael apologized, and that was it. And then the weekend continued. So, but it was tenuous. That Sunday night when we were all back together again after Saturday night ending very poorly, it was like everyone was kind of like walking on eggshells around each other. And it was fine. And then Monday I hosted dinner. And at this point, like, I love Patty. She's great. And she's so fun and so easy to be around. But I don't want to see, by Monday, like, I don't want to see I don't want to have dinner with anyone else. I don't even want to have dinner with Mark. I want to eat alone. I want to have like a big bowl of spinach and a jug of water and sit on my couch and just like cleanse all of the champagne and alcohol and cheese and salami and crackers that I've been eating out of my body. And I have nothing left to say. I have nothing left to talk about. I am socialized out, which doesn't happen easily for me. But no. We still had we had dinner at my house that night. Lovely, went fine. And then Tuesday night we all went out again. But like by Tuesday, we were all like, Monday, my aunt walked in my house and she's like, here we go, deja vu. Are you sick of seeing me yet? Because it's, we don't have dinner as a family like that much ever. I can't ever remember since we were kids having 5 dinners in a row. So it was a lot. And now I think we've like filled that quota. We're good on family dinners for a good while over here. But it was dramatic. And I guess I'm probably downplaying it a bit because anybody can listen to this and I don't want to share things that people don't want being shared. I think in the bonus on Patreon, I go a little more into detail, perhaps. Again, like I said, when I record, when I'm done, I press like end recording, I basically black out. And I can't remember anything that I said. So I'm not sure. But yeah, so apologies to Patreon people if you've already heard that story. But it was, aside from the incident, which is what we're all referring to it now. Aside from the incident, it was a really nice time. It was really nice to see my aunt. She's the only family we have. My mom's entire side of the family, except for my 2 cousins, are dead. My dad's entire side of the family is not, but we don't know any of them. And I won't get into that whole thing about like all of our cousins. We still family in Italy and this and this. We don't know any of them. That I'll leave that on the Patreon episode. So it was really nice. And, and because we don't know this extended family on my dad's side, once my aunt and my dad are no longer around, which their side of the family has like the most amazing genes. I think my grandmother, she just passed away 2 years ago. She was 92, 93, 94. She was over 90. They have really, and my aunt and my dad are, I don't know, my dad's 75. He just turned 75. Oh yeah. We had my dad's birthday dinner also. His birthday is the 27th. So we had like Christmas Eve together. Then we had the birthday together. Then we had saw each other on New Year's. And like, it was a lot. But he's 75. My aunt is, I don't know, 72. Like, you never know. I mean, she like goes out and is partying it up in Florida. She just got an electric bike, but prior to that, she had a bicycle. She's riding her bicycle all over, going to the bars, like super fun. And my dad is also, he's a very young 75. So I'm saying all of that because hopefully they'll live for a very, very long time. But whenever that time comes, like, I don't know. I learned so much more having my aunt here because I asked a lot of questions like, well, how old were you when your dad left? And what about this? And tell me this story because my dad doesn't talk about it. My dad's stories that he shares with us start when he started working in advertising. And he has great stories and they're super fascinating, but there's very few stories about his childhood or growing up in New York or that side of the family. So it was really nice to be able to get to learn some more about that side of the family and hopefully continue to do that because, once my aunt and my dad are gone, those stories kind of die. and Jenna and I don't have kids, so there's no one to necessarily pass them on to, but I don't want to go down that road. I don't want kids, and at this point it's probably not even possible, but I could see where people, maybe it's not the sole reason for them having kids, but being able to continue on your family legacy and stories and memories, and for you to be remembered. Like, I can understand how that influences people's decision to have kids, because when I really start thinking about that, it's sad to me to think that like all of the stories of my mom and my cousins my cousins on my mom's side, we just have 2 cousins on that side. So her brother had kids, had 2 boys. They don't have kids either. And myself and Jenna don't have kids. So like all of this stuff on my mom's side, there's no one to pass it down to. There's no one to carry on those memories or tell people about my mom. I'm going to cry again, guys. Sorry. And same with on my dad's side. You know, my Aunt Patty, she never had children. Me and Jenna don't have children. So like, where do all these memories go? They just die. And I guess, you know, once I'm dead and gone, who the fuck cares? But, I kind of started to understand how that could influence people's decision to have children. And, I mean, it's not influencing me enough to actually want to have children. And Mark 100% doesn't want to have children. So, but it's a little sad to think about, and we don't need any more sadness. So I'm not going to talk about it. What else? I took some notes. Oh, the theme throughout this entire like multiple day dinners was my dad talking about diet and healthy eating. He like eats super healthy, and he constantly is preaching about like no white bread, you know, no, if you're going to eat pasta, he's like, you know, you need to eat this vegetable pasta. So he made regular pasta, like DeCecco, you know, my family always used DeCecco pasta, the best pasta. So he made DeCecco pasta, regular pasta, basically. DeCecco is just the brand. But then he also made a small batch of this vegetable pasta that he, I don't know, gets at Whole Foods or Sprouts or something. And it's made entirely from vegetables. So there's no like wheat or flour or whatever. And he asked us to all taste it and compare. And everybody thought the vegetable pasta was disgusting, but didn't want to say anything because, as we have now learned, my dad can be gruff and harsh sometimes. And so that's why I wish I had recorded one of these dinners, because hearing him talk about like healthy eating and the benefits of it and why everyone should eat like a Mediterranean diet and never eat bread and never eat sugar and all these things. It's not I know it's coming from a place of wanting that he really believes this. And I do believe that it has a big part in how he has stayed very healthy and young at 75. But when he talks about it, it's like he's a little bit yelling at you and a bit lecturing you. Like you feel a little bit like you're sitting in a desk at school being reprimanded by like the head mistress or master. I didn't go to private school, so I don't know. But, and it's relentless. It's like he talked about it Friday night, you know, because we got pizza from my favorite pizza place here, Scordato's. We got pizza and we had a little eggplant parmesan on the side, and now he eats it. He ate the pizza and he ate the regular pasta, and I brought dessert Saturday night and had dessert Monday night at my house. Like he'll eat it because he kind of has the same mindset as myself and Jenna. I believe that like when you go to somebody's house or you're hosting, like your healthy diet doesn't really apply in that moment. You know, we're going to have French bread or Italian bread on the side of a pasta dinner. And that's on a regular day in my dad's mind, that's like unheard of. It is like a cardinal sin to eat that much bread and flour. But if it's a family dinner, fine. Or if it's a dinner at someone else's house, like I would never go to someone else's house and refuse food. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't even know if we were explicitly taught to not do that, but my mom and dad, I guess, like hammered manners into us growing up. Like I think I've talked about this. I probably say please and thank you way too much. It's like excessive. It's like, oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like it almost loses its value at that point. And then going hand in hand with that is the, like if somebody makes now look, if I'm a vegetarian and somebody makes steak, I'm probably going to say something, but maybe I would just like cut it up and move it around my plate and pretend like I ate it, but wasn't hungry. Like, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to be difficult when it comes to eating because I know people with like, dietary restrictions, it can be like so annoying and it's way over the top these days, and I don't care what other people do, but that's just me. You eat what somebody makes you. If somebody has the kindness to make you a meal and invite you into their home, you eat it. And so I think my dad has the same mindset. So he ate all the breads and pastas and cookies. And I made, what did I make? Let's see. What did I? Oh no, I didn't make dessert. I made tiramisu cake for his birthday, but I was going to bring dessert on Saturday. And he said, no, we don't need dessert. Don't. So I don't think I did. Anyways, it was funny because every meal, and we had 5 in a row, he talked about this. And then after several of these meals, he would text each of us links to like a New York Times article, like the Mediterranean diet. And it's like, we just fucking talked about, I don't need to read an article. I know the Mediterranean diet is good. So that was kind of an ongoing joke throughout the weekend. And what else? I wrote this down. Nobody's going to care about this, but I ordered Esposito's sausage from New York. It's in Harlem. I don't know exactly. I can't remember. I don't know New York well enough to say that, but hold on. Henry's barking. 1 second, guys. This is getting really long too. Hold on. Ow! Oh, Henry. Okay. Sorry, I didn't pause the recording. I'll see if I'll cut that. I'll try to cut that out. So either you just heard the pause when I had to go let it in Henry, or you didn't because I managed to cut it out. Esposito's sausage. So growing up, I was a vegetarian on and off most of my childhood because of the animal thing. But there was one thing that I almost always ate. It's so bad. I was never one of those vegetarians who was like hard and fast with it. Like I will never, I'm not going to touch anything that's even cooked next to an animal byproduct. I'm not going to sit on a leather couch. Like my parents had a leather couch. I couldn't go that far into it. I wanted to, I just didn't have it in me. And so fine. I figured I did what felt comfortable. And so I was a vegetarian for many, many years. And it's really an unhealthy diet for me because I hated vegetables. So I really ate a lot of like peanut butter and jelly and pasta. It wasn't great for me. But so my grandma used to send my yaya on my dad's side, used to send us Esposito's sausage a couple times a year. And she'd send us like a couple coils. So this sausage, it's thin. It's very thin. And it's wrapped up. I'm going to post a picture of it. And I can't talk right now. And it is amazing. It's like, it's amazing. It's provolone and parsley, I think is what like they call it. Provolone and parsley, coiled sausage. And it's like 8 feet of sausage that they wrap up into a big coil. And it's, I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't matter. I won't be able to explain it. It's amazing. It's juicy. You can like see a little bit of cheese in it when you cut into it. My dad would make it on the grill. I can taste it in my mouth. It's just that good. I momentarily gave up vegetarianism to eat it. And the one thing that I generally try not to eat is pork, honestly. But it was amazing. And so, once we moved, I don't know when she stopped sending it. At some point in I guess when we were adults, she stopped sending it. And so here in Tucson, there is a place where my mom worked. I'm sure I've talked about it, called Roma Imports. It's all the way down Keno. Well, Campbell turns into Keno. I can't remember the cross streets. I'll have to post about it because it's amazing. So let me make a note that even though I'm going to post this in 1 second, Roma Imports. And so my mom, I don't know who or how they found Roma Imports, because it's literally like, it's not in a strip mall. It's like in the back of what looks like a business-y type district. And it's when my mom found that, it was just a little like Italian market. They had a very small section with like, canned tomatoes, olive oils, things, everything imported. And then they had, a frozen section, and they'd make everything in the back. So they had, raviolis, cannelloni, and tiramisu, and, all kinds of different foods that had been made and then frozen that you could buy and take with you. Now it's expanded a little bit, and you can get sandwiches and things like that and actually sit there and eat. It's still very small. Amazing. So they have coiled sausage there. And so my mom bought it. And my mom ended up eventually working there, actually, and became very close. And we spent many holidays with the owners. And the coiled sausage, the first time that we ever had it, I was like, oh my God, this tastes just like Yaya's sausage, like the sausage Yaya used to send us. And literally Mark went down to Roma and picked up a coiled sausage a couple weeks ago, and we had it, and it's amazing. It's delicious, but it was never quite as good as what my grandma used to send. And now I may be like rose-colored glassesing. That's not a word, but I may be like remembering how amazing Esposito sausage was through the lens of like childhood. I mean, it's been 20 something years since I've had it, but, my aunt, I never knew where it came from when my grandma used to send it. I had no idea. But so my aunt, that's something else I learned, that it came from Esposito's. And my aunt said, just look it up, Esposito sausage. She's like, and you can order it. So she orders it in Florida. She gets it now shipped down to her in Florida. And for $75, you can get Esposito's. I'm typing it in right now. Sausage. Yeah. For $75, you can get 5 pounds of coiled sausage. And oh yeah, here it is. Sweet sausage with provolone and parsley. And like, that doesn't even sound that good to me, but I cannot explain to you how good it is. Smoked, aged, extra sharp provolone cheese and the bright notes of fresh parsley are combined to make this outstanding pork sausage. We think it pairs perfectly with pasta and broccoli rabe, or just pinwheeled with a skewer on the grill. And that's exactly how my dad used to make it. Now that's how Mark makes it. And so it's 3 layers of 8 feet round sausage pinwheels. So they, take 8 feet and roll it up. So order today for delivery. I'm wondering where mine is. So let's see. I ordered it on the 4th. It's saying if I ordered it today, it would ship January 13th. And I guess it ships overnight. So it would be there the 14th to the 21st. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 4 days after you order it. So I ordered mine on the 4th, which I think was a Sunday morning, Saturday night. So 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So it might be shipping today or tomorrow. I know that you are all really thrilled to listen to me do math on my fingers into the microphone to try and figure this out. But like, even though I just said all I want to eat is spinach and like water for the next 2 weeks after all these heavy dinners, I would eat this. So I'm pretty excited for it to arrive. I'll put the link in the notes of this. If anybody is a big fan of sausage, I promise you this is the best you'll ever have. And you could order it. It's amazing. So that's it. There was no really like big ending to that story. Just that I love Esposito sausage and I haven't had it in 20 years and I can't wait till it arrives. There was something else. I'll be honest. I was a little bit tipsy when I ordered it because something that's $75, I will debate it. Does anybody else do this? Please, somebody else tell me you do this. If there's a purchase that I want, something I want to get for $75 outside of like, I don't mean like an electric bill or something. I mean, something I want that I don't need, but I want. If it's $75, I will debate purchasing it for days. And then I'll either decide it is worth it or I'll forget about it. But like, I would almost never make just like click buy $75. Never. It's just too much money. So this was a tipsy order, like a tipsy impulse buy. And I made one more tipsy impulse buy on, I'm so embarrassed to say this, the TikTok shop, which is just the same as buying something off of Instagram from what I understand. I mean, I hope, because I did it. I kept seeing these leggings, and for any male listeners, we won't care about this, but female listeners, hopefully you'll understand what I'm saying when I say I live in leggings, like yoga pants. I don't do yoga, by the way, but workout pants, athleisure or athletic wear, whatever you call it. And I, as we all know, don't like to spend a ton of money on anything, but certainly not like yoga pants. My favorite place to get them is from Ross for $7.99. But I am really sick of having to always wear a shirt that goes past my like crotch area, because all of these leggings, they're inexpensive leggings. They work perfectly fine. They look perfectly fine. They last long enough, but they all have a seam that goes right down the middle of the crotch. And it's impossible to not get, I mean, I hate saying camel toe, but that's what it is. If I say it quiet, maybe it won't be as offensive, or a front wedgie. How about, it's just impossible. And I guess people wear underwear with their leggings. Wow, we're getting personal, guys. I don't, because that's uncomfortable to me. I just wash them after I wear them once, which now makes me sound very wasteful of water. But anyways, can anybody relate to this? Like a front wedgie with the leggings. So anyways, on TikTok shop, I saw, TikTok is just, honestly, now it just feels like one giant ad. I'm just getting like people selling stuff in my face every single moment. So I really don't go on, but 1,000 times I saw these Halara butt lifting, no front seam, leggings that look, apparently they look amazing. They make everybody have this perfect butt and like perfect legs, and it looks amazing, which I know is not true. But I was like, well, I got to try a non-front seam legging, because if it really doesn't give you a front wedgie, none of it sounds, I don't like the way any of this sounds. Then maybe I would like save up a little bit and buy a couple of nicer pairs. Now, let me be clear. These are $30. We're not talking like Lululemon here or whatever, but that's still, for leggings that I just wear once and then wash and only wear around I don't know. It just seems like a lot, but I'd love to know, do any women listening, have you tried the Halara leggings, or do you have a legging brand maybe from Amazon or something that doesn't have the front seam? I would love legging recommendations, because my two things are, I don't want a front seam, and the waistband, I'm very short. So all of them basically come up to my boobs. then I'm fine with that. I like it. I want them to come up high, but I don't want at the very, very top of it. I don't want elastic. You know how some of them have like no elastic at the very top because that cuts into your, that gives me like back rolls. What a bang up episode this is. Started off with me crying and now it's ending with talking about like camel toe and leggings. So you're welcome, guys. This is not how I planned. This was not what my first episode of the new year was planning to be, but it is what it is. This is where it came. And I'm going to sign off soon here, but I do want to hold on. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, nope. I didn't get a text. I got a voicemail. I talked about Jim and I'm saying to you, good. How about the text? Okay. Okay. It's still playing. So let's see. TV shows. I have to get to my TV app, which I don't think I ever posted about, even though I said I was going to. Okay. Well, we are watching the new Dexter Original Sin, which is very different than the other Dexter, but pretty, I don't love it. I don't hate it. That's on Showtime or in Paramount Plus. You can get Showtime through anything. I get it through Paramount Plus. Another Showtime show called The Agency with Michael Fassbender and the Jeffrey something. He's the guy from Westworld. And he's from other things too. He was from that movie that I loved from so long ago. I obviously didn't love it that much. I can't remember the name. So The Agency and Dexter, those are only partially like we've only gone partially into those. And I like them both. I think I made a list in here. Hold on. Let me see. I know you guys must love it when I just stop talking and look through my phone for lists. Tucson Eats. Oh, Mark and I had made this thing. We want to like start trying new restaurants like once a week, maybe. We haven't done that at all, but I was like making a list of possible restaurants that might be interesting to try in Tucson. Come on. I can't believe I can't find this. All right. Well, I'm just going to have to go from memory then. Sorry, guys. I know I put a list somewhere in here, but I have 943 notes in my notes app. So I try to keep them organized and then I never do. Okay. Nope. Okay, fine. I can't find it. That's okay. No, it's going to annoy me. So I'm going to keep looking. No. Okay, fine. I give up. Okay. So Dexter, The Agency, so far, so good, though we are only partially into them because they are currently on TV airing new episodes. I should have planned this better, guys. Sorry. I really like the show High Potential. That's like a network TV show, which I don't watch as many of, but I really like it. It has the girl from It's Always Sunny. It has Dee from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think it's really funny. Oh, we started watching a new show on Netflix that came out on New Year's Day called Missing You. And it's a Harlan Coben show. He has a handful of shows on Netflix that are just like one season, 4 to 6 episodes, limited series, and they're all kind of crime, thrillery, drama, thriller. This one is probably, I don't know. I'm not going to say my least favorite. I liked it a lot, but we have one more episode to go and we haven't watched it yet. So obviously I don't like it enough to like finish it quickly. This show called The Earth Abides on Amazon. Not for everybody. I'm not usually an apocalyptic type thing. I'm getting text message. I have to ignore it right now. All right. I should probably finish this up because this is going to crap really quickly. Not that it was a shining star of a podcast to begin with, but I really have so many. That show Laid on Peacock. Really cute, funny, stupid, easy to watch. I'm going to make a list and come back, and maybe I'll just do like something where I just talk about, No Good Deed on Netflix with Ray Romano and Lisa Kudrow. We loved it. Thought it was super good. And La Palma, now the show is dubbed, which I generally cannot watch a dubbed show. It absolutely makes me crazy. However, for whatever reason, this one isn't too bad. And it's such a fascinating show that it was like worth it to both myself and Mark and Jenna really enjoyed it. So that's on Netflix. No Good Deed is on Netflix. Going through my TV app. The Sticky on Amazon Prime. Cute, funny, easy to watch. A crime thriller, but humorous. Black Doves on Netflix with Keira Knightley. Serious, like that's one you got to pay attention to. Really liked it as well. And I guess I'll leave it at that. I know I talked about on the Patreon episode how much, the show called The Madness on Netflix. Didn't expect to like it. Really interesting. Crime thriller to the max. The Day of the Jackal, I finally finished. That's on Peacock. Again, another crime thriller. Really enjoyed it. You really got to pay attention to that one. And then Mark and I, over these past 3 weeks, watched all 4 seasons of Barry, the HBO show Barry. Now, they're only half-hour episodes, so don't think, whatever. We really didn't do much. So, I tried to watch Barry years ago and I was kind of bored after the first 2 episodes and I just stopped. And what a mistake that was, because what a awesomely clever, funny, dark show. Highly recommend. So I will come up with a list. I know I'm missing some. And if anybody else has show recommendations, I would love to hear them. And I was going to talk about my Death by Southwest goals for the year, but does anybody care to hear that? I don't think so. I think we're going to do I said I'm not going to, and then I just immediately do. I think we're going to do a Patreon, like a Zoom cocktail hour on Patreon, because very few people on Patreon live in Tucson. We're also, Mark and I are going to do another like get together in Tucson, but now I know where I want to go. So we went to St. Philip's Plaza, which is the corner of River and Campbell, because they do a farmer's market there. And there's all this outdoor seating. And I can't remember if the outdoor seating was for Reforma or Union, but they have these giant like couches in the shape of a U with like a fire pit in the middle. And, people could sit, people could stand. We're not like stuck at a table where people feel like they have to eat food or whatever. It's more casual. So that's where I want to do it for sure. And I'm going to give like a month's notice so that if people want to come, they can plan better instead of just giving like 1 day's notice. And again, it feels like a really weird thing to like, maybe nobody will come. I don't know. I don't know if anybody even cares or wants to hang out and have drinks with myself or Mark and meet other people in the Tucson area. But I really enjoyed the last one. And I would love to meet more of you. So we are going to do, that is going to happen. I'm sure there are people who want to know if Jenna's coming back, and I don't have an answer for you. Things are really good between us right now, and I'd like them to stay that way. And I don't want to put any undue pressure on her or our relationship at the moment by bringing up her coming back. I am going to be switching the podcast over to Brandon's network. I was supposed to happen this week, but it'll probably happen next week. It will change nothing for you guys, but it will hopefully give Death by Southwest a little more exposure. And Brandon is calling me right now. So I'm going to tell him, give me two. And I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Sorry. And is this not, have I stopped record? Oh my God, I just don't see it moving. So I was like, did this stop recording me? Not that anything is like groundbreaking. We're not doing groundbreaking stuff here, but I can't see where it ends or begins. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. Okay, no, it's still recording. Wow. Other goals, be better about social media. And really, I just wanted to mention that because I would like to really focus. Of course, I'm going to continue to be focused on gym stuff and, other endeavors, but I would really like to spend the next year seeing if Death by Southwest is something that is, I don't know why I'm sharing this, like financially a smart decision for me to continue. I'm hoping in the next year to have more work with Jim, to have work with Brandon. And I really enjoy doing this. I love you guys. I love the feedback. I love hearing from you, even though you wouldn't know that because half the time I don't answer Instagram, but I really do. I feel like I have like a community of really awesome people. But nobody likes an inconsistent podcast that comes out like, whenever the host feels like it. And that's kind of what this has been. Well, certainly lately with the holidays, but it has been that, on and off since we started, depending on what's going on in my life. And that's not really fair. So I would like to, my goal is to spend the next year and really put, a lot of effort into making the best episodes I can, making sure they come out consistently, following through with, things that, merch or doing a Patreon Zoom or doing another meetup, doing a live podcast, having other guest hosts come on, having listeners come on. I want to follow through with all that stuff. And then that combined with being at Brandon's network, see if that, and I hate that. I hate saying that because no one wants to hear that you're only doing something for money. I'm obviously not doing it just for money. But I'd like to see if I can find a happy balance between the fact that I love to do this and that it also brings in some income so that it is a bit of a job. Because it is time consuming. Nobody needs to hear this. What the fuck am I doing? Okay. Once I start on this microphone, it's like something turns in my brain and it's just like, let's just verbally vomit every thought that we're having out to the world. I need to learn how to censor myself a little bit. Anyways, thank you for listening to this very all over the place podcast. I will put a link for Esposito's sausage and Roma Imports here in Tucson. And, I did see, I think Micah on Patreon said that she ordered the face masks that I talked about and put the link in. I have to go see if you told me if you liked them or not, but I'm anxious to hear that. And I hope everyone had a very beautiful holiday and start to the new year. And if you are in California or affected by the fires in California, I wish I could do more aside from saying that my heart goes out to you and I hope that you are safe. And I don't want to start crying again then. So let's wrap this up. I love you guys. We're back. New episode next week. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.